Good evening, everyone, and good morning to all my friends across the world. Thank you, Vedya. That was a very sweet introduction. Today, I would like you to meet some friends of mine. Let's get started. Meet Divya. Divya is a homemaker based out of the UAE. She's been free from cervical spondylitis. No more pain, apart from losing 10 kgs of weight. This is Jemon. Jemon is the vice president of HR for a Asia Pac region for a conglomerate. He reduced his triglycerides from 1,300 to 158. And then there's Priya. She's a teacher again in Dubai, and her TSH level was skyrocketing at 26 and has come down to 5.5. What's so special about three of them? Well, each of them has taught me the importance of managing stress and getting results. So if I was to tell you, Divya, the homemaker, meditation helped her reduce her pain levels. For Jemon, we had to turn to laughter therapy to help him bring down his stress levels. And Priya did our stress management workshop, which helped her get whopping results, right? So, my name is Michele, and I am passionate about helping you live your best health now. And today we are going to talk about stress, how to stress proof your body. Yeah, so when I talk to people, most of the time people tell me that, either they don't know that they are stressed or they don't feel like stress makes a lot of difference. In fact, I was speaking to someone the other day and she said, me and, my mom, can't handle stress. We get anxious very quickly. But my dad and my sibling can handle it very well. But when I dug a little deeper, I found out that her dad and her sibling actually had severe health issues. So let's not fool ourselves. Actually, stress has an impact sometimes, and it shows in different ways, right? Let's, understand. Most people don't think there's a connection, right? So I'm going to help you make that connection today, right? So here's a video. Most of you might have seen this video. It's a very popular one on YouTube, okay? So this young guy over here, and they are about to show you how your mind responds when it's exposed to fear. So let's watch this now.
Experiments. Train your brain. This hand, this arm is your arm. Sensation. Feel movers. This is in fact your right hand. Never on purpose hurt you, right?
Right? So can you see how powerful your mind is and how your body responds when your mind perceives fear? I have some activity for you now. Can you take a couple of seconds and stare at this lemon? Just stare. Look at its features, the bright yellow color, the juicy pulp inside. It looks phenomenal, right? Now I want to close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes, right? Close your eyes. I can see you. I can see you. Okay. So close your eyes now. And I want you to imagine you're picking up this lemon. So take your right hand, pick up that lemon, raise it to your mouth and open your mouth. Take your tongue outside. Nobody else is watching. And squeeze. Give one tight squeeze onto of the lemon and feel the drops on your tongue. Did anyone feel anything? Please, I'm waiting for the chat. Did anyone feel anything? Yes, what did you feel? Anyone with a, yes, mouth is watering. Taste of lemon. That's amazing. Tangy, yes, absolutely. So can you see how just imagining something has triggered a reaction in your body? So today we are going to start taste. Yes. So today we are going to talk about how stress affects your body and how does your body respond to stress. So stress is a reaction, okay, to a thought, right? So anytime your body perceives a threat in any kind, it begins to respond. And that response is a change in the way your body functions. So the first player I want to introduce you in your stress management system is your sympathetic nervous system. So, this is your fight or flight response. Whenever your body perceives a threat of any kind, now it could be, the job situation in office, it could be someone at home falling sick and you're concerned about that. It could be argument with your teenager. It could even be, a disagreement at home, either with your parents, your siblings, or your spouse. Anytime your mind perceives a threat, the sympathetic nervous system goes into overdrive and it affects every single part of your body. This is the part of your part where you need to take notes, right? Because I'm going to tell you how it affects your heart, right? This is where palpitations begin to happen. And if you have palpitations, you want to look at it. Your triglycerides go shooting through the roof, as you saw with Jemon's case, right? Your LDL again goes up, and in fact, it begins to affect the artery walls over a long period of time. Your HDL begins to drop. Your immunity begins to suffer because the T cell production, which is responsible for protection, actually stops functioning. They stop the production of T cells. And in extreme cases, it can even result in autoimmune concerns, right? Your stomach, what happens to your stomach is very simple. The hydrochloric acid production, which is responsible for breaking down protein in your system, stops. And so your protein digestion gets affected. The mucosal lining of your stomach, which actually ensures that, you don't develop stomach ulcers, right, begins to get extremely thin. Your gut bacteria, which is supposed to be diversified, actually begins to get very, very, the diversity comes down big time, right? And therefore, your digestion gets affected. How many of you notice just before or when you begin to get anxious, your stomach needs to get cleared out, right? And you need to go to the bathroom? It happens because your, stomach and gut are responding to it, right? Reproductive system gets affected. Very common things, right? Most people, the ladies, the periods begin to, become irregular, right? And even for guys, the sperm production comes down. Come to your detoxification system, right? The liver and the kidney, and there are certain enzymes which the liver produces, which is supposed to convert toxins in your body to harmless fat soluble and water soluble molecules which can be flushed out of the body, and those enzymes aren't being produced. Do you know what the liver does at that time? Because it cannot flush out the toxins, it wraps it in fat and stores it within your body. Your brain, right? The amygdala, which is a point in the brain which actually senses fear, goes into overdrive. Have you ever noticed that you make some stupid decisions when you're highly stressed? Well, it's because of your brain not being able to function when you're stressed. Now, I want to tell you a few more things. How many of you eat emotionally or binge eat when you're upset? Right? Do you know what happens? Your energy production system changes. The liver begins converting everything to glucose because you need stress demands a lot of energy from the body, and therefore the liver begins to break down and convert everything to glucose. So muscle gets broken down and converted to glucose, both from your legs and your butt muscles. Ketones or fat gets converted into glucose, and all of these send your sugar levels rising. So that's how stress causes you, to move into the diabetic range, right? There's another wonderful thing that I learned recently. There is something called as fascia. The fascia is like a cling wrap. How many of you have seen cling wrap, right? So around our muscles, There's a cling wrap which kind of keeps everything together, and that's called the fascia. And the fascia actually begins to get stiff and prevents movement. Have you noticed body pain for no good reason? That's because the fascia has become extremely stiff and your movement is restricted, right? Even your genes get affected. They say because stress activates all the wrong genes and suppresses all the good genes. The most important factor here is epigenetics. And epigenetics is basically everything on top of genetics. They say genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. And in your lifestyle, how you manage stress is extremely important in deciding how your genes function. Yeah. In fact, even vitamin D absorption gets affected when you're stressed. Now, we already don't have enough vitamin D. And then when we, under stress, even that vitamin D absorption, goes for a toss. Now, the question is, why are we so stressed? Right? Look around you right now. You're perfectly safe, but there's a lot of stress. So there are three sources of stress primarily. One is from the past. Some of us are reliving incidents from a past. It could be, a loss of a loved one or a big tragic incident that happened to you anytime before now. The second one is current stress, right? What we are dealing with every day. It could be just toxicity in the environment or toxic relationships that you have, in your life right now. And finally is a worry about the future, right? I want you to understand that stress is also a learned response. So if you've seen, and we learn this by observation, if you've seen people shout and get upset when they are stressed, then most likely you tend, to repeat that, right? The other is, of course, one second. Right. The other is, of course, if you've seen only people, freeze and not be able to do anything and just go into their shell, you could be replicating that. Or you could be someone who's just, bottling it all up inside. And that results in stress issues, right? And health issues. So there are multiple things. Just job pressure itself is one thing. Handling multiple roles or finances and even changing life stages, right? As we grow older and we handle more responsibilities, changing life stages also can bring out stress. Now, your coach would have spoken to you about all of these different tools to manage stress, right? And I do not want to get into why breathing makes so much of a difference. But they say if you can control your breath, you can control your life, right? So breathing and meditation, reading, spending time with friends and family, all of these things that you should do and you can incorporate. In fact, one of the things that I do with my clients is help them, make time slots for all of these in the course of their week, because this is what makes the balance. It is all about balance and counterbalance. If you're able to counterbalance these activities into your lifestyle, then you'll be able to handle the current stress quite well. But sometimes we are dealing with things more than that, and our results in terms of our health is not showing, right? We are not able to lose the weight, the sugar levels aren't coming down, the stress levels, the BP levels are very high, and we seem to be stuck. And that's when you need to look at new tools to handle stress. All of these, what I showed you just now, are different tools. And just like, the ladies have different kinds of spoons or ladles in their kitchen, different pans for different purposes, and the guys have a toolkit at home, which has different kind of, spanners and monkey wrench and all of that stuff. You need different tools to handle your stress. And what has worked very, very effectively that I have seen are the two workshops. That is Worry Free Happy Me, which is a workshop, an extended 1 month program, which helps you deal with the stress of the past and let go of things that are no longer serving a purpose for you. And if you have a worry about the future and you are concerned about how, your future will look like, then the Principles of Manifestation is a beautiful workshop which will help you deal with the worry and craft a future that's worth working toward. Now, usually when I talk to people about this, they are like, it's okay. It's not bothering me so much, right? I can learn to handle it. When it comes up, I'll deal with it. To you, I have just one thing to share, right? This is a very, very popular thing that they say that, if you deal with it now, nobody wants to open Pandora's box and deal with issues. But if you deal with it now, then you will learn the tools that you can use to manage stress going forward. And the more equipped we are, the better we can handle what comes in the future. So my recommendation would be to talk to your coach today. If you do not know whether you're stressed, that's the first thing you want to get answered. Are you stressed? And what does your coach recommend would be the right way and the right tool for you to handle stress? And my selfish motto in this entire thing is that I would like to see you happy. And I believe that there's no one who can have a better influence on their family than the person sitting in this call right now. So if you will take action to shift your stress levels downwards and your happiness levels upwards, you will make a tremendous difference to the next generation. With that, I'm done. And I wish you all a very, very happy and healthy future. Back to my host.